All right, everybody. First of all, thanks for attending the Project Controls Expo. I'm being the event organizer, so I'm wearing multiple hats today. So pardon me if something goes wrong, but I believe I haven't heard any critical feedback since morning. So I hope everything's going well and you all having a good experience. And now this session is predominantly aimed at how the training can lead you to certain accreditations and certifications across the globe. We have currently mapped to. So very quick background about me, 20 years into the industry, engineering degree, MBA, and holds quite a few certifications, IEng with Engineering Council, PSP, and CCE with ACE. I have also helped ECITB. I believe you have attended or visited their stand in drafting the National Occupational Standards in Project Controls. Helped APM, SIG in drafting the planning guide, and also on the ACOST board. So I'm predominantly working with these professional bodies to try and create some sort of a training standard which would benefit the industry and the community. So the Department of Business and Skills, which is a British government body, has made a lot of initiatives to come up with the vocational qualification for project controls, because that is not something which is being taught anywhere right now. So we are trying to help them, but because I have been supporting them, that made me realize there's a huge vacuum to provide the competency to allow them to achieve those accreditation. And that is where we thought we should try and create this new venture. So the challenges which we all know is right now there is a whole suite of accreditations, there are a whole suite of certifications, but there is no defined route for most of them. And as I mentioned, this is an attempt to achieve that. On addition to that, there is additional problem is once you move around the industry, once you move around the locations, your qualifications and certifications, accreditations are of no use. For simple example, you are in UK, you get your ECITB level 5 diploma in project controls, and you move to US or Australia, boom, you're not accredited there anymore, you're not recognized there anymore. Same thing with vis-a-vis from US. If you did an ASCCP, PSP like me, when I came to UK, no one even knows about it, what it is. So it looks like all your effort goes into the vain when you move around the industry or move around the globe. And today's globalization world, this is very common. It is irony that all these bodies are not coming together and creating something unified framework or unified structure to overcome this problem. So we thought, we do it. And that is the big idea, Project Controls Institute. I'll go through the framework in the next slide and try and help you understand how this works. But just to give you a 50,000 feet overview on this portal, it's an interactive platform. It's a blended learning approach we have used, which would allow people to understand the concept, to build their competency in the project controls, and then move towards accreditation. And more on that, I will take it forward in the framework section. We also have a discussion forum to allow project controls people to share their views, raise the queries, and help the community. We have got an exhaustive library section coming up, which is where we would be talking about the contents, templates, videos, and some blogs to, again, give you a knowledge base. So as I mentioned, the introduction, the PCI is the unique framework, unique structure which allows you to get you the accreditation with multiple bodies like ACE, ECITB, Engineering Council UK, and PMI. And it is also supported by APM and Engineers Australia and ACOST. So you could see Europe, Australia, and Americas, everyone is supporting this, which is why we could call it a global platform to allow you to move forward in your career progression. This is not just a simulated classroom experience, but there is also an additional features of webinars, Skypes, one-to-one sessions to try and make it a more inclusive one-to-one or training approach or training background for you guys. Some of the key features is, as I mentioned, single unified framework, which we're going to skim through in the next slide, which allows you to map your learnings and competence to the multiple accreditations. The second is, of course, as we talked about, it is supported by major global bodies. It is crafted, it's just not me who has contributed to this. There are a couple of more guys who have helped us create this platform. So that is why I've said there are multiple experts who had helped the industry and the bodies who has contributed to this project. And there are multi-level courses for the beginners, intermediates, and experienced professionals. You can learn through video, live webinars, one-to-one tutoring. We all talked about it. Okay, and another additional feature is we just don't talk about the theory. We just don't teach you You do the PERT and CPM calculation this way, but we also then teach you how it is done into the software. So there's a software element also into it to make it that learning more practical and more to prepare you for the real life. And then finally, you will have the PCI handbook, which we have recently finished and will be available online. It will be an exhaustive document, although it will have some of the content which are still being drafted. And you will also have some library forums and additional blogs content on the website for you to further enhance your knowledge. This is the key. This is the USP for this whole project. We spent around 3 odd years in studying all the existing frameworks, trading standards, and requirements globally, and come up with some unified, unique, single framework. And as you could possibly see, does it? Yeah, cool. It doesn't go on the screen. It's okay. So as you could see, there's a level 0 foundation, which is integrated project controls, but below that, we could also help you in doing the assessment of where your currently training standards are, training needs are. And then after that, depend upon the situation you are in, depend upon the levels you are in, you could go for the integrated project controls course, which is the level 0 course, which prepares you for the fundamental aspects in project controls. It covers the entire spectrum of project controls: planning, cost, EV, risk, delay claims, NEC, and BIM. And that leads to your ECITB level 2 diploma in project controls, estimating, planning, and cost engineering. Engineering councils in ENGTech, ACE, CST, and CCT, and APM's PMQ and PFQ, and PMI's PMP. So you would be surprised to know, or you might have questioned how we can map it to all these bodies, especially knowing the fact that they all use different terminologies and different approaches. And that is where the major effort is gone into, in identifying all those differences into the course content as well as in the glossary. So you could try and understand specific aspect depend upon where you are staying in. If you're preparing for a PMI, PMP, we could easily guide you toward the PMI references to allow you to map your competency education towards PMI certification, for example. Now what happens is, once you finish this training course, we do not just leave you there, and instead, then we help you assess you for all these qualifications. For example, ECITB level 2 diploma is a 6 months process. You have to go through various case studies, you have to go through various workshops before we can then present you for the interview with a professional body, and then we can get you the accreditation from the ECITB, which is the Diploma in Project Controls. Similarly, then we move to the level 1, which is the specialist courses for each subject, planning, cost, risk, EV, NEC, and BIM, as you could see. Each of these courses are again drafted according to the certification they are mapped to. And as you could see, the planning, for example, let's take a planning and scheduling course. That is mapped against ECITB level 3 and level 5 diploma. That's because they have got the different qualifications and experience requirements, which needs to be mapped. And then PMISP and EC, IEng, and CEng. CEng is for those who has got an engineering background and an engineering degree. So what we are trying to do here is to map your education towards the accreditation, and we can then help you achieve those accreditation by staying with you. There's an NEC and FIDIC both. I mean, in addition to NEC different form of contract, there's another angle twist is the FIDIC as well. And because this is a global platform, we wanted to cover every type of it. And you are in the industry, you would know that nowadays it's all customized contracts. NEC, different forms are merged into it. So, I mean, we cannot train everyone into everything, but we can basically give them the conceptual understanding of the subject, so that even if the contracts are sliced and diced and created according to their contractual requirements, you can still understand what's going into it. Because, exactly. There are hundreds of multiple permutation combinations, by which, if I look into sorry, I don't want to name the clients here, but they have, mixed up so many NEC form of contract, it just totally baffles me. So that is the platform which basically helps you go through the accreditation. And as I mentioned, ECITB level 3, level 5 takes you at least a year to get you that qualification. But at the end of the day, you get a diploma in project controls if that is what you are aspiring for. Or you could get the IEng or a CEng from the Engineering Council, which is a very coveted title for a engineering professional, but also for a project controls professional now. And all I'm trying to say is, we make you competent, then we hold your hand and take you up to the accreditation and get your accreditation in your hand, in simple words. Now, those who are planning to move to a sunny side of Australia, We are talking to Engineers Australia, and they are also going to start with a chartered engineer status very soon. Fundamentally, in principle, they are in alignment with our framework. So that is something which we are going to map it up. So this is the framework. We can come back to the framework if you have any questions, after my session. This is just a small snapshot on what additional features we have. The first picture is the handbook, which you can download after going back home tonight. The blogs, the forums, the usual stuff. We're going to create some specific templates for the people to make their life easy. There's no need to reinvent the wheels, and then some videos, and as well as some paperback literature. The paperback literature is a very interesting thing. We're talking to some book publishing company right now, and we're going to integrate with the Spotify, and that would allow you to access maybe more than 500,000 books in Project Controls in a paperback format, but they will be all embedded into the digital format on PCI and will be linked with the Spotify for you to quickly access them on a need basis. So that feature is being built upon, but that is something very exciting we're going to see in a few days. So as I said, this is more of to give you an overview on what we are trying to do, what we're trying to achieve after understanding the market requirements of training gaps, and that leads to the accreditation. Go ahead, you want to ask a few questions, go ahead.
So my question is, with project controls, what we deal and face with is a lot of different systems, computer ecosys, Primavera. Will it discuss what systems work well together in the best formats and the best way of reporting or dashboards? Will that be covered, or is it just more theory and guidance?
No. I mean, if I'll go back to the framework.
Yeah.
I believe you could see it is not very smart, tiny weeny. Yeah. I'm coming to your side. Like you see, this is the Microsoft Project Deltec Open Plan, Primavera Risk Analysis, Cleopatra Cost Management, Primavera P6 Professional. So there are a whole suite of softwares which we will be telling them. The thing is, this is going to be expanded in the future. How they talk to each other? Oh, that's more of the EPPM then. The plan is to include the unifier and EPPM going forward, but right now we still doesn't have a clear visibility on how it's being done. I mean, let's admit it. Okay. So, but at this point of time, it is very evident that 80 to 90% of the companies use these 4 or 5 softwares. So let's hit the mass market first, and then once that's established, then we'll have a better maturity on the unifier and OPPM and Prime. List goes long. And then the thing is that particular software tool section is going to be expanded in a much deeper level. But right now, we just, as I said, want to focus on the proven and trusted and most used softwares. But definitely, when we are learning the planning or any of the technical skills, we will be telling them how it need to be done in the software. The reason we do not want to give any specific name of the software there, we might be seen biased about it. If I say Primavera P6, then we'd say, well, I use Deltec Open Plan. I don't know how to do it. So we have a dedicated sessions on P6, Open Plan, or Primavera Risk Analysis. I mean, Ecosys, Aries, and everything can come there. It is just, right now, our capability is to build those things. We are now at the stand, you've seen Aries and Ecosys, everyone is there. And they are keen to be part of it. So it's a good news. So it will come eventually. It took us 4 years to come where we are right now. And I think it is just a beginning.
So similar to that then, it's on the lines of, if a company has its own internal training programs for project services, would you work with them to align this offering with their existing training programs?
Yes, definitely. And that actually we have done it for one of the existing clients. There's a call from Morrison's Utility Services, and we can give you a demo on our stand. It was not related to the project controls, it is related to something else. But what we are doing is we are making a customized training program according to those organization requirement by slicing and dicing the information, picking up something from ours, picking up something from theirs. In fact, we have got some requests where they would like to create training programs which includes the company overview into it, so that they can give it to their freshers straight away. And not just project controls, project managers, program managers, and things like that. And we are already working on that concept, as I said. But on the face of it, it looks like it is the same thing, but at the back end, the content will be different based upon the requirements you would. Give you a small example. The web name will be mus.projectcontrolsinstitute.com or bechtel.projectcontrolsinstitute.com. And when you click that, you will see a complete Bechtel page. It looks like you will on an intranet, but the content will be as per what you were looking for. But the engine would be same. The LMS will be same, which is built by our internal team.
Okay, so there's a degree of customization then?
Yeah, customization will be there.
Fantastic,
yeah.
thank you.
So we are very flexible. We can accommodate any requirements you have. Whether even if it is non-project controls, actually we have done it for one of the client. So we do not want to limit with anything. It is the learning which you are more interested into, the education which you are more interested into. Of course, that leads to the accreditation. That is the top-up bonus on and top of that. Any other questions?
Good afternoon. I have a question about the framework sheet.
Yeah.
We are from the Netherlands, and well, we experienced that in the Netherlands also. There's a large need for knowledge certification. But all the things you mentioned there, all the accreditations, are not known in the majority, the most part of Holland.
Yeah.
We just call our project controllers.
Yeah.
And it's everybody from very experienced project control guys, the real ones, to some guys who've done financial background and seen the projects. They also called project controllers. So this accreditation is not familiar with the majority of the people in the Netherlands. How could you solve that?
I mean, that initiative needs to come through the government bodies. For example, Department of Business and Skills, which is the part of the Department of Education in this country, initiated the ECITB, and then ECITB drafted the National Occupational Standards and Project Controls, where we contributed to. We can help them draft the standard because or we can, to put simply, they can also talk to the ECITB and pull up those standards. That's not a problem, but we already have access to those standards. We can build something for them. If there is nothing recognized in Holland, for example, then we need to create it, as simple as that. And then we can help them create it, which is more suitable to their local requirements, including the Dutch language. So we can do that, definitely. I mean, because of the background we have, I think it won't be a very tedious job to do it. It's just the willingness and the buy-in from the regulatory bodies we need to have. And of course, support from the industry, the local industry we need to have.
Right.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Just come to Holland sometime.
Definitely, in 2 weeks.